Hey everybody, welcome to Geekoholics Anonymous, episode 169. I'm your host. Man, I screw up the intro once and it just seems to be a thing now.
Were you trying to be like, it was 169?
Yeah, 169. And then I was thinking about 69 and I forgot that I was recording a podcast. Anyway, moving along. I'm your host, Rico, here with my co-host,
Mr. Dane Cody.
Mr. Dane Cody and I get together once a week, talk about video games, TV, movies, and or whatever the hell we like. Primarily video games.
What was that?
What was what?
Whatever the hell we like.
I don't know.
What are you doing, man?
I'm just I'm out of it, man.
I take over for 1 week, and you completely lose your mind.
I know.
Come on, man. Get back on track here.
It literally sounded like a recording. It could you could like take any intro for like the last 100 episodes, and they all sound the same. And it's like I can't do the last 2 weeks.
It's all good.
I'm getting over a cold.
Movies, whatever the hell we like.
Yeah, I'm getting over a cold.
Okay.
A sick child. Long nights, gross weather with this freaking...
The smoke is killing me, man.
The forest fire smoke. It's so depressing. It's like our summer last couple weeks has just literally been stolen from us.
It's gross, man. With this weather is killing me.
It's probably even worse because you're closer to the fires than us.
Oh, yeah. It's real bad today. I got an alert from Google today saying that our air quality index was at 180, and it was unhealthy.
Jeez, I guess it is a good time to be inside playing video games, at least.
Yeah, it is. You could look directly at the sun today, and it was just an orange orb in the sky. You could pretty much look directly at it. It was bad.
We might get some breaks of sun tomorrow, but this is not the weather podcast. This is the Geekoholics Anonymous podcast, where us freaking gaming nerds talk about games.
Weather stuff
for the BS section. Do you have anything exciting that happened over the weekend? I can't think of anything. It's all blur for me.
Played a bunch of video games because my mother-in-law was in town and my wife and her were hanging out and doing stuff, and
nice.
Was able to kind of get some gaming in.
I think I did see you on quite a bit.
Yeah. I've also been reading a lot of comic books lately, but we can talk about that in the free-for-all section.
Oh, yeah. So, I guess with that, let's get into the what you've been playing section of the show, where we talk about the video games that are taking up all our free time. I'm still playing Dead Cells.
Did you beat it yet?
No. I've made it to the end boss. I've made it to the end boss 3 times. So, I didn't really talk about it too much last time, I don't think, but Dead Cells it's not the longest game in the world because of its rogue-like and randomness. I think it's only like 7 or 8 stages, and you can progress through them differently. There's multiple bosses. You can do different paths. I think you can avoid one of the bosses if you go through a certain path, and the stages and which stages you can get to change as you unlock new abilities. So I've unlocked all the runes, or at least all the traversal runes, like the wall run and the ground pound that smashes the ground and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So I can get to all the different stages and whatnot now. And I have made it. I can make it quite far. On most of my runs, I usually get pretty far. Unless I screw up on the freaking Timekeeper boss, which I have a couple times in the clock tower, because he can be rugged depending on what weapon loadout you have, because there's so many different ways to play. Like, you can go melee focused with grenades, and that's like a brutality build, or you can go with like a technical build with catapults or like turrets and long range like bows and crossbows.
Okay.
And this, I don't know, all the bows are so different. The weapons are so different. There's blades, lances, Jesus. I haven't even seen all the weapons. But sometimes I've lucked out and gotten like a legendary weapon that just kicks so much ass. And then it's just like, okay, this is a cakewalk.
Right. I guess that changes like the game quite a bit, eh?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
because of the way the runs work like that.
Yeah, because like if you get a dope ass weapon, the enemies are not that hard to deal with, and you can progress quite far. And if you have a crappy run with like bad randomness or weapons that aren't your play style, the game is like 10 times harder. So I've made it to the end boss like 3 times. I think I got him down to half life on the last time I made it to him. And yeah, he's tough. And he's kind of, I don't know.
I've heard that there's, I know some people that were working and they got into him several times, but like it's like every time they get to him, they do like a little bit more damage.
Yeah.
And just because of the way the game kind of works and the way that it's run based and stuff, it's like you get better weapons or you bet better this or that, and it's like each time
you
just seem to be able to do like a little bit more.
Yeah, because like the first boss, I think when I was playing this game on early access on PC, the first boss I made to 4 or 5 times. I never beat him.
Oh, okay.
So now I don't know if they made the game easier or if it was just I wasn't getting it before. Maybe I just sucked and I got better. I don't know. But now I do stupid shit and screw around with the first boss because I know his patterns so well now. So like I don't have a problem with him at all. Plus it doesn't hurt that I can heal like 3 times now. And usually by the time I get to him I have like tons of life. So I could get pretty sloppy.
Okay.
And there's even builds like with different weapons. Like you can get weapons that heal as you hit enemies. So you can get pretty lucky with a perk on one of your weapons where it's like it gives you so much % life when you hit enemies. That makes life a lot easier, that's for sure. But
yeah, I could see how that would really, really change things. So like, do you ever run in when you like at the beginning you just get kind of a bad like setup and you're just like, forget this noise, I'm out of here, and you just kind of like, and you just like wipe it and try again? You
can. I never have, because I'm like, I may as well pass at least this first stage or 2 and learn or try this different weapon. Okay. I have pondered it because there was one run where I started with the Spartan sandals and they don't do a lot of damage.
Oh, that's the whole like Spartan kick, right? Like this is Sparta, and you like kick the enemies.
But if you're near a wall or an edge, it one hits enemies. So if you hit them into a wall, they explode, and if you hit them off an edge, they explode. So it's like it's all about controlling the space and the placement of you and the enemy, and it can be very powerful, like one hit kills.
Interesting.
So a lot of rolling and jumping, and it's like manipulating the enemy's positioning on the stage, and then that weapon is actually really good. But at the offset, it's like, what's this stupid kick? It has like no range. This is dumb. I can't even kill an enemy in one. If you sit in like an open area, you kick an enemy 3-4 times, and it's like it's like, I'm never gonna kill this guy.
Right.
But it's all about like getting him close to a wall or a door or an edge and just exploding him, and it's actually kind of cool.
Seems like it would make an already very difficult game harder, though.
Yeah.
Which, like, I feel like in that game, the whole point is to, like, try and make life as easy as you can because the game's already hard as hell.
But because people are evil, and there's probably people that are so good at this game. Like, there's a weapon called the Cursed Blade.
Right.
It does, like, tons of damage, but you die.
It kills you slowly?
No, you die in one hit.
Oh,
so it's like for one of those. It's for like those, those no hit runs for guys that are that freaking good.
Interesting. Oh,
it's an awesome ass game. It's so solid. Did you request a key yet? Like I told you to.
I honestly haven't had a chance, and I'm having a hard time just because there's so many games in my backlog, and I know there's so many games coming up that I'm just like I need to add another game to my list now.
This is true, but man. It's a pretty rad game. It's got lots of cool Easter eggs, too. Like Dark Souls, Castlevania, Hollow Knight. Like, it has pictures in the backgrounds, like picture frames in the backgrounds of stages. And, like, it just has a straight-up picture of, like, Hollow Knight or Alucard. Or, like, there's a whole Easter egg with Dark Souls, which I don't want to ruin, but it's pretty rad when you find it.
That's cool. Like I said, I'm super interested to check it out. There's a part of me that thinks it might not be for me, but it might at the same time. So
you'll be able to play it at PAX. When we go to PAX, I'll have it on my laptop. You can play it on my laptop.
Word.
And then I stopped playing it promptly, and I probably suck at it now because I got something else that I can't talk about.
All right.
I'll let everyone think and try and figure that one out.
Done.
It's not too hard. I'll be able to tell you next. I'll be able to tell you next podcast.
All right. That's the one where we're going to be driving down to Seattle for
That's
PAX,
what I was going
right?
to ask you, if you wanted to do it a car show or a hotel show when we get down there. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good question. We'll have to mull that one over. The car show is pretty fun.
Yeah, we can do the car show.
I'm not rolling in a Jag anymore, though. It's not going to be nearly as quiet.
No.
So the car show might be loud.
I'm going to bring my mic regardless. So if we don't do a car
There you
show,
go.
maybe we could do a little show every night at the end of the night.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Anyways, moving on.
What have you been playing, Dane?
I've been playing several things.
I see that.
Yes. So I was graciously given a key for a game called Graveyard Keeper.
Yay. As was I. I installed it, but I didn't get to playing it.
That might be a good idea.
So it just came out on PC, and it's also actually on Game Pass on Xbox.
Yeah, it's on the console. It's an Xbox One exclusive, at least for right now. I don't know what the plan is as far as keeping it that way or what, but I know it's there at least right now. So,
I've heard, and I don't know if I'm on base with this, that it's Stardew Valley, but for graveyards.
it's Stardew Valley-esque, that's for sure. It's a very it's an interesting premise. The premise is your character dies, and instead of actually dying, death transports you to this weird realm. So the game starts off with you're in modern times, essentially now, and then you die, and death transports you to a time that's it feels like medieval times almost. So very there's no cars, there's no technology. It's very much, carriages, horses,
Horse and buggy.
Yep.
Correct.
Oh, absolutely. Totally. Yep. That's all kind of and you get transported to this time, and you become the new graveyard keeper. And there is a talking donkey that drops off a body, and on certain days.
So are you technically alive in this other realm, or are you still dead?
You're alive, from what I can tell. It's almost like you go back in time, sort of, but not. I don't know. It's interesting. It's I use a different realm because it just kind of seems like the easiest way to wrap my mind around it. And so you become the graveyard keeper, and the game more or less starts off with there is an old graveyard.
And you have a talking
it is
donkey
in disrepair. Yep. The talking donkey drops off the body, and you take it into the morgue, and you remove some flesh, and then you prep it essentially, and then you dig a grave, and you drop the body off in the graveyard. And there's a whole bunch of things, for example, if as you level up and as you get better at the game, you unlock more things that you can do as far as removing organs and bones and various things to try and make the body better. So when the body gets dropped off, there's, how would I even explain this? There's a gauge, more or less, that, and some of that gauge is red, some of that gauge is white. And the idea is to try and get the red part of that gauge down as much as you can by, say, for example, removing the heart, or removing the organs, or cutting off some flesh, or taking the skin away, or something like that. And the idea is to try and get the body in the best shape possible. And if you can remove as much of the red as you can before you bury them, then the less you will have to work to, for example, build a really fancy headstone, or build a box around the grave, or so on and so forth. Because essentially each body has, it's almost like a happiness level. So it's like there's like skeletons, and they have a plus or a minus. So if it's really unhappy and there's lots of red on the body and you bury it, you may bury it, and then that is sitting at like, say, -2 or -3 or -5. And so then you put a headstone, and that will add, that will take away, that will add 1 or whatever. So now the body is sitting at -4. And essentially, this all transpires because there is the graveyard itself has more or less like a quality level, and the game starts you off. It's like -15 or something like that. So like you clean up the graves and you repair the headstones and you do this and that helps like make those minus levels go away, and then it increases the quality of the graveyard. And the idea is like when you start the game, you want to try and like get the graveyard to a certain level so that you can reopen the church. And then when you can reopen the church, that will bring pilgrims through and you'll make money, and it's like there's that. But on top of that, there's also the fact that, like a lot like Stardew Valley, you have a house and you can get food. There's a whole crafting element, a huge crafting element to it, where if you've played Stardew Valley, this game definitely feels like it was inspired by Stardew Valley. So you start off not being able to do a lot of things, and then you get more skills and you unlock more recipes and so on and so forth. So, at the beginning of the game, you can not do most things, but then as you keep going, you unlock like the ability to build a sawhorse, for example. And then once you unlock the sawhorse, that allows you to build, like, for example, wooden crosses for the graves, which helps to increase the quality. And then when you hit a certain point, then you can unlock the stoneworking area so that you can then use the stone to help make like headstones, and like, so there's that whole aspect of it as well. But there's also like a village close by, and you can walk to the village, and there's like a tavern, and there's like a whole bunch of houses and people over there,
and
so
shops
you of course
and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So you like interact with them, and there's a whole like you can get there's like a whole plot of land beside the graveyard, and there's a way that you can get access to that, and then you can grow food there. So it's not quite like Stardew Valley where you got to like water all your stuff every day, but you can definitely plant stuff, and you can definitely fertilize it, and you can build a compost heap, and then when you use the compost heap, that will allow you to make peat, and then you can make bouquets for the graveyard, for example. It's addicting as shit. I'm just gonna say right now.
It looks neat visually. It looks like
it's very reminiscent of Stardew Valley.
Yeah, except for
they definitely. Like visually, it looks it's not quite as cutesy.
Yeah, clearly less colorful and a little more gloomy.
Totally.
Of course, it's in a graveyard.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. There's totally a whole other thing going on where, there's an inquisitor, and there's this priest, and there's people, and like there's a whole other aspect of the game as well, kind of like Stardew, where there's like all these little side things and secrets, and you can unlock these areas by talking to this person. And like, for example, I woke up in the middle of the night because there is a very Stardew Valley-esque, there is an energy system. So as you play the game and you do things like chop down a tree because you need wood, that's going to take energy away. And you can eat things or drink things, and that will help restore some energy. Or you can go back to the house and you can have a nap or go to sleep, and that will. But of course, when you're sleeping, time is going by. So there's like essentially a week. So there's like the various days of the week, and various things will happen on various days. So like, for example, the donkey will drop off bodies on certain days.
Fucking donkey.
Yeah. I know, it's great. So like, so like, for example, I woke up.
Give you orders? Or you just drop bodies off?
No, he just like drops off a body, and you're the only person who can like understand him, apparently. So he like talks to you and he's like, what the hell, man? You can understand me? And you're like, yeah, you're a talking donkey. And they have a conversation. It's pretty amusing. I woke up in the middle of the night one night because I was done sleeping, and there was a ghost in my room, and he was telling me that apparently one of the other bodies in the graveyard was an asshole, and that I should dig him up and throw him in the river because he was a dick, and nobody else in the graveyard liked dealing with him. So the next night I like got up and threw him in the river, and he, gave me some stuff, and like there's like all kinds of little things like that. It's got a real charm to it. I will say I think they may have gone a hair overboard on the amount of, how do I explain it? It's a little bit like Russian nesting dolls sometimes when you want to do certain things. You're like, okay, so I got to go over here and I got to gather this wood, and then I got to go over here and I got to gather this stuff, and then I got to go over here and I gather this. Okay, now I've gathered all this stuff. Now I go back to my shop, and now I use the sawhorse to build this thing, and then I need to go to this other spot, and now that I've used that thing, I can, for example, I've made a plank, like a wooden plank, and now I have to use the wooden plank to build this other thing, which then in turn allows me to go over to this other section and combine that with 3 other things that I've just done just as many steps to do to build this thing that I need to go and put in the graveyard.
So
like they've gone a little.
It gets probably use some getting the
yeah. Like I feel like they
simplify it a bit.
Yeah, they need a way to somehow, like, I get where they're getting at, and I know why it's happened that way. But it definitely, I feel like, I don't know, after hitting a certain point, like maybe, I don't know, like I feel like there's got to be a way they could somehow simplify it a bit more, because it just, that gets a little bit old sometimes. You're like, okay, I've got to do this thing, but all right, I need that, and I need a lot of that, and whatnot. Yeah, and it just kind of, you're like, okay, well, that seems a little bit excessive. I don't know if all of these steps are needed for everything all the time.
I guess this is a management sim, right? Is that what they call these?
Yeah, it's like a management / life sim. I don't know.
Like, what is Stardew? Is that a farm? I guess it's a farming.
It's kind of a farming simulator, yeah. And like I said, this has like a lot of Stardew-esque aspects to it. Like there's definitely, like I said, you can get a garden and you can buy seeds and you can build recipes. Oh, the other thing I will say too that I do find frustrating sometimes is I wish there was like a master list of items you can build or like,
yeah,
like in Stardew there's like a menu you can pop up.
Yeah, it shows you everything you can build, and if you have the maps, you just click on it and boop, there it is.
Totally. And it also, if you highlight it, it will at least show you, like, this is what you need to build that. And in this, it's like you have to go to your, like a crafting station, and then it will show you all the stuff that you need to do. But what I find annoying is, like, unless I write it down, I walk away from the crafting station, and there isn't a way for me to, like, okay, well, how many of those did I need again? Or what did I need? Or where did I build that? Or where did I make that from again? So there's like, the game just came out. I'm sure that like they're going to be doing a bunch of stuff to try and sort of help some of that. I would imagine. It's a lot of fun. I've dropped, I think 3 or 4 hours into it already on the weekend.
You make me want to play it.
It's fun, man.
I don't have an excuse. I have it on PC and on Game Pass. So
there you go, man. It's like, I don't know, if you're into that kind of game, like if you enjoy Stardew and stuff, it's fun, and it is worth a play, in my opinion. I'm tempted to, because I know how much my wife really liked Stardew, I'm almost tempted to like download this on the Xbox and see if it's something that she would be interested in playing on there. So I will definitely continue to play more. It scratches that Stardew itch. Not that Stardew's not awesome as well. I've dropped 40 hours into that at this point, and time for something a little different. So
nice.
So yeah, so I played a bunch of that. Also, our conversation about Forza Horizon and me being a bit of a hater on that game. That game has come out on Games for Gold this month.
That's right.
It's a freebie. So if Forza Horizon 2 is out there for the Xbox One, if anybody's interested, go download it. It includes the 10th anniversary car pack as well, so that's kind of cool. I downloaded that and I installed that on my Xbox One. It had been a while since I had played anything on my Xbox One. I had a very large 4.5 gig patch that I had to install first. All thanks to the fact that I can't leave my Xbox in low power mode because it fucks with my cable box.
Have you put it in? Have you connected it wirelessly?
No.
If you connect it wirelessly, I think you won't have an issue.
I might try that. We'll see. I'm not really playing like online anyways, and it's so close to the router that might be an option.
Or the other thing is if you put it behind a switch.
That's the weird thing, is it technically it is in a switch, but I guess it's the same like it is behind a switch. Like it goes directly into my the modem.
Okay, well then that doesn't work because someone told me that was a workaround for that issue. But I know the wireless one.
Yeah, the wireless one makes sense. It's probably because it would completely separate it.
It's a known issue with that modem. We're going off on a tangent here, but...
Yeah. No, I'll have to check that out. Anyways, big update. Finally got it all patched up. Started playing some Forza Horizon 2. I'll probably have to take back what I said about that game. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's awesome. I like Forza.
It's pretty good.
For an open world racing game, it's arcadey, but it's got enough tweaks for the car people to keep them happy, I think.
Feels... How would I say this? It feels a little bit like Burnout Paradise in some regards.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
But not nearly as obviously arcadey and out there as Burnout Paradise.
No, it is a little more realistic, but it still is. It's definitely not no sim racer.
No, definitely. I will say I'm not a fan of the cross-country races.
Yeah, those can go sideways quick.
Like, I mean, here I was rolling around in my Lotus Esprit V8 with, all my tunes on it, and it was rocking, and I was killing it in this championship. I'd won 3 races, came in first in all of them, and then I did the stupid cross-country, and I must have done that cross-country race 6 or 7 times.
Were you using the rewind feature at all?
Yep. But the problem that I was having was... It's so that's not what those cars are for at all. And I mean, I realize that everybody else in the race is having the same problem I am, but it's just there's no grip. They're not off-road cars. It's a sports car for crying out loud. And I'm driving across the prairies and suddenly I'm trying to do a corner and I'm sliding all over. I'm losing speed and I don't know. Obviously, I'm going to continue to play the game. It's fun. It is really good. I like I really like the whole bucket list stuff where you roll up and there's these little mini challenges kind of all over the place, and you do
high end cars.
And some of those are super fun. Some of them are kind of hard. Some of them are just kind of neat. I like that a lot. That was cool. Those are great. I love the fact that you can, if you want, you can just rip around the world and just cruise all over the place. Because sometimes it's just fun to find a nice stretch of road and go for a rip. And not even be doing anything necessarily. Finding the little, I want to call them billboards because that's what they were in Burnout Paradise. But there's these signs places and some of them are really I'm looking at going how in the fuck am I gonna get that? So some of them are kind of puzzles almost. I'm okay, well clearly there's got to be a jump or something somewhere that I can turn on or unlock or do or So that's kind of a cool aspect of it as well. The racing itself feels pretty good. I don't mind Some of the stuff with the other cars on the road gets really annoying, but that's like any racing game that's going to be quote unquote a street racer, you're going to run into that. I find like sometimes, there's nothing more annoying than you're like neck and neck with a guy. You're kind of, trading a bit of paint here and there, and then you both come around a corner and there happens to be a car in your lane incoming and like you get smoked or whatever. You know what I mean? Like things like that. But again, like those are niggles that aren't necessarily like specific to Forza Horizon. That's just any racing game with other cars on the road can have that problem. Need for Speed Underground, whatever, like those kind of do that as well. So, but no, overall, I'm really enjoying it more now that I've given it more of a chance. I don't think that I like it as much as a numbered Forza game.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Forza 6 is a better game. But again, that's also like the like nerdy car guy in me coming out saying that, because
how about that Forza 7?
That's a good question. I'm hearing that they're going through a bunch of changes in that game right now.
For those of you that haven't tuned in or are aware, Dane has an unopened copy of Forza 7 still that he hasn't cracked open. So,
yeah.
When I played Forza Horizon 4 at E3, I was like, "Yep, I'm ready."
Yeah, that's fair. So this got me a lot more excited for Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah, I didn't play. I had 3.
I don't think I would care as much for the Australian Outback. Like, I don't know. Like that game looked like it had a lot more of the cross-country stuff in it than I care
3,
about.
But something pulled me away from it. And at this point, it's like, well, 4 is going to come out, so I'm just going to move to 4.
Sure.
Because I guess that's going to be on Game Pass, right?
Yes.
Should be.
They've said that.
Yeah.
And that looks great too with the weather and the seasons and everything. Like I think it'll be cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it was a cool demo at E3.
So
that'll definitely be.
But nope, I've eating my words a bit, but I'm definitely appreciating the Forza Horizon more. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just didn't give it enough of a chance before. So anyways, yeah, dropped a bunch of time into that. I also played a bunch of Battle Chef Brigade. Yeah. I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
On your Twitch launcher?
Yeah, I loaded up. I actually had to install my Twitch launcher, which I guess was just the curse thing that I didn't realize it just got bought by Twitch, and then they just reskinned it, the Twitch launcher.
Is that what it is? Oh.
Yeah, I guess they bought the
Twitch. I was never really into curse.
Me neither, but I guess it was a thing. So anyways, yeah, that game's interesting. I absolutely adore the art style in that game.
Yeah, it's got an awesome art style.
Fucking incredible. Probably second only to the Battle Chasers Night War art style. It is like, I love that art in that game, and it comes across as having like just this incredible aesthetic that I want to play it so much just because I love the way it looks. There's something about it, and I've been trying to put my finger on what it is. And maybe it's a game that I just need to play in shorter bursts, but I don't know. I played it for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And like, I stopped and I walked away, and I just didn't feel a pull to come back and play it again afterwards, and I haven't yet.
That's the problem with getting so many games for free from all these freaking services.
Maybe,
like, if you paid for it, maybe you would have been like, okay, well, I got to play this some more, and then you get to the point where it has a hook. I can tell it's from the little I played, I am like, this is a pretty quality game. I haven't gone back since we played it last. And
right? See, but you have the same problem.
Well, I have another problem, but I can't talk about that problem yet.
Yes, but I'm just saying, like, that was 2 or so weeks ago when you played it.
True. And then Dead Cells came out, and Dead Cells is freaking amazing.
But I don't know if I'm not sure if I like I don't know if it's the puzzle aspect of it.
It's complicated. There's a lot of depth to it.
Yeah,
it seems very simple at first, but it's not. It's pretty complicated.
Yes, I think that's exactly what it is it comes across as being
it's just like a
fairly straightforward
jewel
game,
matching game, but it's got a lot more depth to it than just that. Because you're
trying to figure out how many like different dishes need different things,
and the whole matching and leveling up the elements.
Yeah,
right? Like that
totally. And they're like
things a lot too, because you got to keep room on the playfield to be able to level up more of the same element to really jack up your score, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I did one where I totally thought I screwed up, but because I had higher elements of stuff, even though I had less of whatever I should have, I ended up winning barely, but I still did just because I had higher elements or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And you probably didn't feel so in control, or like, oh, okay, well, I guess I won, but I don't feel good about it because I don't feel like I was in control of that match.
And it's and there's a whole flow. So like every time you do a match, there's a timer, and you have to run out into the field and attack monsters and try to get. I like the combat. Yeah, I didn't mind the combat either. I thought it was actually pretty well done. But I'm just meaning like you have I think it's 2 minutes or whatever it is. So you've got to run out into the field, attack the animals and the monsters and stuff, and
go back,
collect the ingredients, drop them
cook
off.
Them up.
And maybe go back out and grab some more, then come back and try and cook them up. And sometimes you even have to do multiple dishes, so you'll have to have so it's surprisingly complex. And and then even when you get into the upgrade system, I bought a pan or whatever. I was like, oh sweet, I'll buy this pan, and then I realized oh shit, I can't convert green gems into I can't upgrade green gems in this pan. I can only upgrade red ones or whatever it was. But I upgrade them twice as easy or what they upgraded easier or something like that. There was a whole thing about that. And I was like, oh crap. And then I realized I chose the wrong pan for sort of the job. And
I do like that it has. I find that timer kind of has that stress, as if you were on a cooking show and you're rushing to get the dish ready.
Well, and that's the point, right? Because that is literally what you're doing.
Oh god, I gotta hurry up and get this done, or else it's you fail, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
It's coming. Did you know it's coming out on PS4? Eh?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I think, okay. What's the date? August 28th.
Because that came out on Switch, did it not?
Yeah, Switch and Windows.
Right.
So I believe at Gamescom they announced that it's coming for PS4.
Cool. Honestly, that game has probably got my second favorite aesthetic art look to it. It is honestly amazing. I know I can say this and I feel okay with it. I feel like almost everybody should play that game just because of how good it looks. I want that art style. It's got this it's like a cross between anime and European. I mean, it feels like European anime. It's got these really cool French art sort of underlying mixed with this anime vibe. It's such a cool art style. I absolutely love it. Like I said, following my Battle Chasers is my all-time probably favorite aesthetic. I absolutely love that.
I think it's a cool game.
But I think it's a cool game. I don't know what. There's just something about it that I'm not sure if I'll keep playing it or not. And I'll probably dive back into it again and see if it gets its hooks further into me.
Yeah, so it's
like a game that I want to love so much.
It's getting updated to the deluxe mode on Switch and PC.
Okay.
On August 28th, and that's the deluxe version is the PS4 version. They're adding a feature that a lot of people have been wanting, is split screen multiplayer.
Oh.
So you can play against someone else locally.
That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know if I don't think you could do that before.
I don't believe you can.
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, it's a cool game. Yeah, it is. That's pretty much what I've been playing besides The Witcher 3.
Yeah. I've been playing something, but
I know.
That's all I can say about it. Embargoes are so dumb. They make sense, but I can't even say I have it. That's the dumb part. I wish I could just at least say I have it.
Yes.
Next podcast.
Yes, I know.
Anyway,
as you've mentioned more than a few times already.
And if you people are smart out there, you probably have a pretty good idea what it is. But yeah, with that, let's get into.
Don't get us in trouble. Shut your face hole about it already.
Let's get into the news. We missed this last week. Huge. Oh wait, rewind. The news.
Let us get into some news.
We missed this last week, but it probably had to do with me being tired. I'm still tired. I'm still sick, man. But I'm not as bad as last week.
You're always sick.
I'm getting over it. So, like, I'm better. My wife sounds like death, but I'm coming through it.
Oh, dude,
now.
There's no cure for what you have.
Yeah. Bump. But, yeah, we glossed over the Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay reveal. And
I don't really know if I can call that a gameplay reveal. It was like little snippets of pieces of gameplay.
I don't know. I just watched it again. It's 6 whole minutes. That's a lot of gameplay.
Yeah, it's 6 minutes, but it's these little chunks of like, oh, and in this, and then they cut there, and they cut there, and they cut there, and they cut there. It wasn't like even 6 full minutes of like just pure, okay, I'm going to jump on a horse and go cruise around.
Spoil anything, man.
Yeah.
All I have to say is, from this video, the amount of detail and how alive this world looks, man, it looks amazing. I think this is going to be like the evolution of open world games.
This has the things that worry me about every Rockstar games like this, and that is they seem to add a lot of, and again, the game's not out yet, so I can't say for sure, but they seem to have a bad habit of doing this, and for me, it drives me crazy, and I absolutely hate it. And that is, they put these monotonous bullshit stuff to do in their games, and like some people love it. They like, they went and played pool with their friends, and they played darts, and they wasted tons and tons of time doing this and this other thing, and hanging out with their friends in Grand Theft Auto, and for me, like, I don't mind some of the side mini games, but when they kind of not force you into it, but kind of make it seem like you should care, like in Grand Theft Auto 4, when you were, you had to date people, so you would like go out on a date with the girl, and like, oh, if you had a good rapport with her, then like that could help the story. Like, there was reasons why, and I get it, and like it was neat to do one time, but trying to drive around and be a gangster while my friend is like, yo, dude, we should like hang out tonight and go play darts, and then your girlfriend's like calling you like, hey, we should like go out tonight and you should take me out on a date, and it's like, again, it was a cool plot when it like that. It was a plot. It was a cool plot device.
A real
the first
life
time.
Simulator. He wanted busting caps and
totally. And like when I was watching this Red Dead Redemption video, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna have to go out and shoot the animals so that the people in your camp stay happy and fed, and you're gonna have to pack up your camp and move it to another location.
I love,
and I'm just thinking to myself, like,
in the last Red Dead, I love everything I saw in this trailer. I'm like, this is fantastic. This is amazing. It looks so good. I didn't
play Red Dead Redemption 1, so that's like fair.
I can't believe,
I just like
that
I was like seeing some of this stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if this is what I want out of a video game. Like, I'm probably going to get wrapped up in the hype, and I'll probably buy this, and I'll probably play a bunch of it.
Day one, I'm picking this up.
But I don't know if I want some of this stuff.
I want it all and more.
And it's
going to be all optional, though, besides the main story. You don't have to... you'll get
brush your fucking horse.
You'll get what you put in.
I'm probably going to have to buy shoes for it. I'm probably going to have to, like, rub its belly when it's not feeling good. Like, I don't,
you'll get what you put into it. I'm pretty sure. Like,
but my thing is like, I just worry.
They got rid of a lot of the annoying things from GTA 4 and 5. So, like, I don't know. You never beat 5, did you?
No.
Yeah, so a lot of those annoying things that you're complaining about didn't exist in 5. So, I don't know.
Every time 5 is on sale on the PC, it kind of want to buy it.
I kind of want to buy it, but I already bought it on PS3, and then I bought it on PS4, and I'm like, I can't buy it a third time.
I have it on PS4, and the thing that I really disliked about it was the driving and trying to shoot with a controller.
It's rugged.
Was awful. And I was like thinking to myself, if I played this with a mouse and keyboard where I could have that disconnect between driving and being able to shoot, that would be really helpful. And also being able to play most of the game in first person mode on PC would be super rad.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's like been so many years since it came out, and there's so many other games. I'm like, do I really need to go back? And anyways.
So, link in the show notes. Red Dead Redemption 2 looks awesome. Dane is wrong.
Hey man, I'm not saying it doesn't look good. Like, it's gorgeous. It's honestly one of the like prettiest looking things I've seen. Like, I'm assuming that's either Xbox One X or PlayStation Pro footage, and it's gorgeous. It looks really pretty. The other thing I will say is I just wish they would announce whether or not they're going to release it on PC. I fucking hate that Rockstar does this.
Oh, they will.
And I know why they do it.
PC a year later.
But will they? They never released Red Dead Redemption 1 on PC. I'm not saying that they won't.
No, but they didn't release... GTA 5 is kind of their first big title that came out on PC.
They released GTA 4 on PC as well.
Yeah.
It just came out later, but they didn't release Red Dead.
I think Red Dead was before they were really doing the PC thing.
I don't know. All I'm saying is I wish they would just announce it.
I'm sure.
And I know why they don't, because they know that everybody will buy it on PS4 and Xbox One.
Double dip.
And then they'll double dip. But I think that's a fucking dick move, and I wish people will call them out on it. Because if they just announce, like, hey, we're going to release this on PC, but it's going to be a year from now, chances are I'd probably just hold off for a year.
Yeah.
But, like, because they know at this point whether or not they're going to release it on PC. They're just being dicks about not telling anybody. And I think that that's an asshole move. And I wish we could call them out on it and just be like, hey, that's a fucking shitty thing to do. I get why you do it, because you make a fuck ton of money off of it, but it's a shitty thing to do. And I'm calling them out on it right now. That's all.
Yeah, it is annoying, because I'm the sucker who gets bit by that.
Totally, right? And I probably will too. I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying it's shitty. That's all.
Yeah, it is annoying. They should just be like everyone else and like, hey, here's the PC version 6 months later. Like, even Capcom with Monster Hunter World is like, we're doing PC version. It'll be at least 6 months later.
You go look on Red Dead Redemption's website.
Nothing.
It's just PS4 and Xbox One. Yeah. That's it. Nothing about a PC release.
Moving along.
Anyways.
Yeah, it is dumb. Dumb like Valve accidentally launching Steam.tv early. Did you manage to check this out? They shut it down I saw the stories, but I was like, I don't know what I was doing. I was out and about. Mm-hmm. So by the time I went to go click on it, the domain was dead. But apparently they had like the full thing up and running. Basically, they're like streaming, like people are assuming is like a Twitch competitor.
That's what it looks like.
People were saying it worked and it looked nice, and it was like tied into the international.
Yeah, that's what I'd heard.
So it had like accidentally been, I guess, turned on maybe when they were setting stuff up.
Yeah.
But no comment, and then it just disappeared. And then everyone's like, okay, well, I guess Valve's going to be doing a Twitch thing, but it ain't ready yet.
This isn't that surprising to me.
No, because they do streaming in Steam, right?
Yeah, it's Steam broadcasting. Like, you can load up Steam, and there's like tons and tons of different like people broadcasting in Steam.
You can like even click on your friends and like just watch them, right?
Totally.
But I think they have to have that turned on.
I believe so. Yeah. This is, to me, is just a natural extension of that, where they're just putting it onto a website so that people can access it instead of only in the Steam app, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Just having it in the PC or in the app is kind of dumb.
My question with all of this stuff, and obviously the market will answer this question, but how many of these big streaming platforms are gonna try and sort of fail? We had 3 years ago. YouTube gaming was massive. They had a huge presence at PAX, and the following year they weren't even there.
They're still going, but yeah,
right. They're like, that's my point, though. They're still going, but it's not. They more or less flubbed. Like it was a bit like a wet fart. People remember that it happened, but it's not really a thing that anybody's jumping on board with, really. Obviously Mixer is Microsoft's thing. They're pushing that, and they're obviously Microsoft, and they're willing to continue to push that.
They're going to keep pushing it to make
totally.
it a thing, whether it ever is or isn't.
Sure, and they'll probably continue, and they're working on that.
I think they've been finding some limited success with it, but
no, absolutely, and I still think that they're doing some really cool things with it. I think that they're the quality and the
quality is fantastic. When I was streaming,
it's easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
I was streaming on my Xbox, and it looked awesome. It looked better than anything I've ever streamed to Twitch.
Sure, yeah.
I don't like that there's only one. I think we need multiple, because when you only have one, they dictate the rules, they dictate what everyone earns and gets, and that's not good for anyone except for themselves.
No, absolutely. I think this is a great idea. I love it. I mean, I think my only question ultimately is how many people are going to try and fail, and how many is the market going to be able to support?
Yeah.
So like right now, we've obviously got Twitch. That's the big one. We've obviously got YouTube gaming, which is more or less. It's funny because YouTube is huge, and so many Twitch streamers and a lot of other people put their stuff on YouTube as well. Mm-hmm. But it's not so much the streaming aspect of it that YouTube is known
video
for.
on demand aspect,
right? And then now all of a sudden, now we've got Mixer, which is a couple years old. They're obviously pushing it, and that is, I would say, kind of become a number two for sure in the streaming space, at least. Mm-hmm. But it seems like every time I turn around, there's like somebody is talking about, like, I know there's at least one or two other ones that are escaping my brain right now that are just small, and like they're trying to get people to come in and like, hey, this is our new platform, we're trying to do this thing, and telling everybody why it's better than Twitch, etc., etc. This to me makes sense. Like I could see Valve doing it, and probably doing it fairly well. If anybody's willing, able to kind of get in there and maybe give Twitch a run for its money.
I would just like to see I'd like to see better compensation for the streamers, because I just find that these guys, and this applies to YouTube as well, they're selling the ads to advertisers for dollars, and they're giving the people that bring the eyeballs cents. That doesn't sit too well with me. And I'm not talking like a 70-30 split. It's like a 99% split. Like you get nothing on ad views. Like you get pennies. Single digit for views on ads on like YouTube and Twitch. Like,
right.
Meanwhile,
obviously
they're turning around.
Twitch, if you're a partner and you're getting subscriptions and things like that, that's where you're making more money for sure.
Subscription is only $2.50 for a month. How many ads?
I thought they got $5.
No, $5 is what it costs.
Is what it costs you, right? Okay, sorry,
50 split. Of course,
so they get $2.50.
Twitch doesn't get their tips and their donations and all that stuff, but that's a whole other slippery slope of right there. But it's like I feel like the ad revenue that they share with their streamers, I think they should get more. Honestly, they do nothing. They don't offer a lot of support.
It's true.
And they're getting big and unreal. I've been hearing lots of stories about Twitch lately, like not good stories behind the scenes. And that they might end up buckling under their own weight. So maybe Mixer's in a good position to, things break down there. But either way,
well, I mean, look at YouTube, right? Everybody loved it till they didn't anymore.
Like Ninja makes money because of endorsements, and he's doing really well with the subscription stuff right now. But I don't know. Like they turn.
You can also lose subscriptions at the drop of a hat. Yeah. I mean, he went away for a weekend and lost 40,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
That's $80,000.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just I more competition, the merrier. In my opinion, I just feel like they should be paying. They should be paying out more.
Yeah. I think it's hard too, though, with any of these platforms, and obviously this is the big reason why Twitch is king right now. Is that people, you can stream to Mixer, and it's great. Like I like the tools, I like the quality, I like so much more about Mixer. But the eyeballs are where, if I manage to get 10 people watching me on Twitch, I'm lucky to get half the amount of those people watching me on Mixer, right? Just because there's just not as many people thinking to go watch stuff on Mixer, right?
Are not as high, so
right. And so, I mean, obviously, right now, I don't know what Steam broadcasting is already like. Like, I don't know, because like we said, there's already a built-in Steam broadcasting service. I don't know what that looks like as far as like their numbers. So maybe I could see this going really well if the games with like Steam Workshop support, obviously Dota 2 and various other ones, but if they, put it in so that all you had to do was hit a button and it would more or less kick over to be broadcasting on Steam.tv, that's a pretty huge incentive for not only people to just stream to your platform because it's easy and all they got to do is hit a button, but also all those people that are, hanging around waiting for friends to get into something or looking or scrolling through Steam. It's easy for them just to I wonder what's going on over here. And boom, I mean, I would imagine that Steam's probably got millions of people hitting it every single day.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that if you can even get a quarter of those people turning into viewers.
Steam has something like 10 million active users on at any given moment.
Right. So if you can even get some of those people
aren't even
to watch some
necessarily
stuff
in games, they're just on Steam.
Right. So and that's my point, right? Like they're probably in the best position to actually get people to watch their stuff. Like they would probably be the closest thing to a real competitor to Twitch, at least in a year or two, once I think people kind of pick a platform and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting though. It's cool news, and I
would have liked to have checked it out, but it got shut down by the time we got to it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be back soon.
So right now there are 9.5 million Steam players are online right now. So I assume that means that are showing up as online in the client.
Right. Okay.
2.5 million right now in game.
Huh. I wonder if that's also just people that have the app loaded that are maybe active on their PC, but
the 9.5. That's that number for sure.
Because I'm thinking to myself, every time I'm on my computer,
I'm one of those 9.5.
Totally, I'm pretty much always logged in to Steam if my computer's on.
Oh yeah,
right?
Oh yeah, they're counting that.
So
2.5 million.
It's a huge amount of
million
people.
In games is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of people for sure.
Where are we? Oh, From Software's ninja-themed Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice gets a release date. That was announced at Gamescom as well. The details of this story from our friends at Eurogamer. March 22nd. Yeah, I'm all over this. This game looks freaking rad. That was unveiled on the Xbox press conference at E3. It's the Ninja Dark Souls, but with a really kind of weird steampunky kind of...
Yeah.
It looks freaking cool.
It looks so rad, and it's going to be a game that I'm going to want to love and play. But
you suck at video games, so you won't be able to.
Speak for yourself, man. Says the guy who didn't even get past the first level of frickin' Neo.
What are you talking about? I got to the third one.
I think you and I both dropped off right around the same time.
Something else distracted me. Nice.
I know.
I effed that guy up on the ship. I beat him the first time. I died.
You've also played a lot more of those games.
I died to lesser guys in that game.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I think I lucked out and pulled off my super move and managed to get that guy on the ship. But he's that
guy on the ship was definitely for me too. It was like the first time I was playing that type of game.
Oh
so
yeah, God!
I think like
that'd be quite the learning curve for sure.
So like that's the thing for me.
That's not a forgiving fight.
No,
that's a very hard fight. I was listening to another podcast, and someone else was like, "Yeah, they never beat that boss," and then they were just like, "Okay, I'm done."
Wow, I could actually see that.
Oh yeah, he was
honestly, the first time I played him, he worked me so hard, and I went like I seriously sat there and went,
"What happened?
I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to beat that guy." That definitely ran through my mind. Like, I don't know. I love that game a lot. It's a time thing for me where I can drop 4 hours into that game and make really
no progress.
Make zero progress essentially.
It's like that muscle memory. I don't know, skill set you get. Like, I've played so many. Like, I've played all the Dark Souls. I've played Neo and Bloodborne.
Yeah, I haven't played Bloodborne yet.
I'm used to that style of gameplay now. So
yeah, and again, like I like it a lot. Like I really enjoy playing that game. It's stressful as hell, but it's mainly just a time thing. Like where it's just I don't like that feeling of playing for 3 hours and going like I didn't even beat the level that I started on. Like that being said, I do feel like playing those types of games makes you better at video games in general.
Yeah.
Like there is definitely a skill set and a patience that you learn and a flow playing those types of games. So
it's not all about button mashing.
I'm just bummed out that this wasn't a new Tenchu game.
Well, they said Dark Souls is done, so that leaves the door open. That was a quote I saw somewhere from Gamescom.
Man,
so because people have
then I'd be worried though that they would be, if they do a new Tenchu game, because they've been making games like this for so long, I'd be worried that it would end up being this type of game, and that would bum me out.
I'm fine with that.
I want them to make like a proper.
Speaking of release dates, Devil May Cry 5 also got a release date. It's coming next year, March 8th. March is stacked next year. The first couple months of next year are stacked, period.
Yeah.
Did you see the new trailer and gameplay?
February 22nd. Yeah, I didn't watch all of it. I haven't had a chance. Yeah, I saw him riding around on like the thing and it's like a snowboard. Like, oh man.
His motorbike turns into a weapon? Like, he was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the biggest news, obviously, out of Gamescom, besides some release dates for those games that we knew about, was the announcement of the new Nvidia cards.
The Nvidia RTX,
the RTX line,
2080 and 2080 Ti, and they also teased the 20. Well, I shouldn't say they didn't. They didn't tease it. They announced the 2070 as well.
I didn't watch the event because I was working, and
so was I. I did watch a bunch of it later. It was interesting.
Sounds like
not
it was a lot
kind of what I
of,
expected.
A lot of goopity goop and technical terms, and really excited for ray tracing.
So here's the thing. Nvidia has been working on building this card for a long time. They're working towards real-time ray tracing, which is, anybody who knows much about graphics, ray tracing is incredibly complex and hard to do, and especially real-time. That is kind of the holy grail of...
Is it a lighting effect? What is ray tracing?
It is.
Okay.
So ray tracing is more or less... It's actually funny because it's actually very much what it says. What it is it's tracing like rays or like beams of light more or less backwards to their point of origin. And because the way that lighting and stuff works right now with raster engines and everything else is they're very much like a set thing. And like, yes, you can move in front of a light and it will cast a shadow and so on, but it's a very different thing than the way, like, ray tracing is very much how light actually works in the real world.
So, let me interject here. So, like, when you're playing games, like, your scope on your gun has got a glass surface on it. Mm-hmm. So, in most video games, they kind of cheat and just have, like, this, like, city-esque texture that reflects on there, but it ain't what's behind you.
Right.
But then, like, ray tracing would be the reflection of the actual building behind you.
Yep.
The light that's put off by the whatever's behind you, proper like real life type. What you would expect if you look at your black screen on your phone right now, you see your reflection.
Yep.
And the room around you or whatever's behind you.
Also, for example, one of the other things that ray tracing brings is global ray tracing. So, for example, when you're playing a game, like, say, a Battlefield or a Call of Duty game, the sun is in the sky at a certain angle and at a certain point, and that is going to affect, like, say, for example, you walk into a building, the sun is going to beam through the light in a certain way, and certain parts of the level, like inside that area, is going to be dark. It's not only that, it's going to be dark. Like right now, because of the way the lighting and stuff works, there's areas that are dark, but they're still kind of light in a weird way. Whereas with ray tracing, they can really affect and show exactly that when you walk into that building, the sun is in this area and it's beaming through this at this angle, and it's going to affect these things. So you're going to see the sunlight glinting off of these things here, and everything else is going to be really dark, and you're going to have that contrast, and it's going to feel a lot more real. And obviously, like, if there's a window or if there's other things, that's going to deflect the light in a certain way, and like, it gets crazy, and in all honesty, it looks incredible.
You can see the benefits of ray tracing in video, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
So
yeah, like a lot of... So you think about like
HDR,
a lot of...
Like, you can't see HDR unless you have an HDR monitor, right?
Yeah.
So you can actually see the visual differences in this if you were to watch the videos. Oh,
yeah. And the thing is that mixing ray tracing with HDR
sounds like it would be like
is
next
insane.
level.
Like that's like the holy grail, more or less.
Yeah.
Because having HDR to accent the areas mixed with the ray tracing to really be able to do this, that's like next level shit. Yeah. It's crazy.
So, and not to mention just the ray tracing stuff, we've got more cores, we've got more bandwidth.
So that's the thing, though, is with their announcement of these processors or these GPUs, the big thing is they were talking about how they literally built an entire, more or less, processor for ray tracing. And that's all it does. They're the RTX cores, and that is what it's designed to do. And it is able to process X amount of rays per second. So during their presentation, they were talking about, okay, like the 1080 Ti has this many RTX units, and it is able to, because of this, it's now able to compute this many rays per second, and so we're going to get this type of a performance out of it.
But it's a fraction compared to these new cards.
But no, that's what I'm talking about. The 1080, the difference between trying to do what these new cards do versus what like a 1080 or something is able to do is like the 1080 is just not even able to.
Yeah,
period.
It shows like
it's crazy.
Like they have a 1 with a question mark for gigarays a second, whereas the 2080 does 8 and the 2080 Ti does 10.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. So literally what they've done is they've built these specific RTX units, and that's all they're set up to do is ray tracing. And they're almost like co-processors on the actual GPU itself.
Yeah.
So they've taken your traditional, like, so if you were to take like a 1080 Ti or a 1080 or whatever, what they've also done is they've increased all the stuff that you would expect them to increase.
Yeah, like on a
So
new
for
line of
example,
cards.
like a 1080 Ti has 3584 CUDA cores, and that's what we would think of as like the regular raster engines. That's what's making the games go really good right now. And of course, the new RTX 2080 Ti has 4,352. So they're obviously increasing all the stuff that you would expect them to increase. This is going to have, the new 2080 Ti has 11 gigs of DDR6. So you're getting way higher memory bandwidth. You're getting, so they've increased all the stuff that you would expect.
Ray tracing stuff.
So that's the other thing is, so then they've added the ray tracing cores on. They've added those as well. Those are like co-processors designed for ray tracing. And then on top of that, they've also added Ansel cores, which are machine learning cores, onto those processors as well. So they're insane, crazy, expensive $40,000 video cards that they're selling for machine learning and these like insane AI processing and things like that. They're like more or less made up of these Ansel cores. So they're adding all of their technologies that they're building. It's like they're taking a 1080 Ti, they're beefing it up, then they're adding these RTX cores for ray tracing, and then on top of that, they're also adding Ansel cores for all of the other stuff, and they're combining them all into a single GPU.
And then they're like, "Hey, can I see your wallet?" Yeah,
exactly.
Fuck
then
that
they're
shit.
like, "Hey,
your wallet's
bend
done.
over."
Boom, your wallet
No
just
lube
explodes.
for you.
It spontaneously combusts.
Yeah. That is the flip side of this, is that unfortunately all this technology comes at a cost.
Yeah, so $699 for the 2080. This is US dollars, MSRP. $999 for the 2080 Ti, and these right now Canadian are just ridiculous.
I believe the cheapest one I saw was $1,400
Canadian.
Yeah,
for a 2080 Ti.
Yep.
Yeah. I was like, cool,
which actually
new video
runs
cards, and I'm like,
out about right.
So there was no benchmarks or anything. It was just like a lot of technical foo-fa. And then I guess yesterday or the day before, Nvidia released their numbers. I still don't think anyone like Eurogamer, Digital Foundry, has gotten their hands on it and done their own benchmarking.
And they won't for a while yet. These cards are a month out still.
Yeah, late September.
September 22nd is when they come out, or September 20th. Sorry. So like, it's interesting because the thing is their whole presentation was more or less explaining what ray tracing is, how hard it is to do, and what they've been working on. And what I saw from this whole presentation was that Nvidia is working really, really hard to make ray tracing become the new thing. What concerns, like, this is going to be interesting because a 2080 Ti enabling, like, so they're not doing full pure ray tracing. I just want to say that right now. What they've developed is like a hybrid of classic and actual ray tracing that is kind of the best of both worlds. It's not the complete insane crazy ray tracing that you would need 12 of these different video cards to run in order to actually get proper numbers, but it's also not the old school style raster engine stuff either. Like they're doing a hybrid of them, and that's partly they've been working with Microsoft to create the DXR, which is the DirectX ray tracing API. So this isn't just completely NVIDIA. They're working with Microsoft because, of course, all of this stuff needs to be implemented in games.
Yeah.
So what their whole idea is they're trying to make sure that Microsoft and that game makers and everybody are also on board with the ray tracing stuff, because if they can make it a thing, then it'll become a thing, and it will not only make games look amazing and run and all this stuff, but then of course that also pushes the industry into a different direction, and it makes all of this stuff useful. But right now, the thing is that this is a little bit of a cart and the horse. Like, if this gets taken off, if this takes off and people start using it, and developers really like it, and people really like it, and so on and so forth, then Nvidia is going perfect.
I guess it boils down to how easy it is to implement this stuff in game. At the end of the day, if it's a lot of extra work, they might be like, forget about it.
I don't think it's going to be too much extra work necessarily. What I'm worried about is that the first generation of this is almost going to be a little bit of a gimmick. Like, sure, these cards are going to technically be able to do it, but what's the cost is that going to be?
That's the interesting thing.
Like, we've already seen videos, like they showed off Battlefield V with the ray tracing enabled. They also showed off a video with the Shadow of the Tomb Raider with ray tracing enabled. Now, I know the video that they were showing off at Gamescom with the Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it's running 1080p 60 with ray tracing turned on. Let that sink in for a second. 1080p 60, and it was having a difficult time maintaining that frame rate. Now, I will preface that as well with the fact that this game isn't out yet, and apparently, according to what I was reading and what I was looking at, apparently the devs were saying that they've only had a couple weeks to actually try and implement this stuff. So this is definitely
be a lot of optimization.
Oh, absolutely.
I know Nvidia
DICE was saying that they're like, people are going to be really surprised with how this works and how well it runs and stuff when it finally comes out. I
saw Nvidia tweet, they're like, yeah, the 2080 can do 4K 60 on the majority of the biggest games, and I'm like, okay, well, that sounds like a good thing. But
so today, it's funny, the Eurogamer article that you linked to has only got essentially one of the slides. There's a second slide that shows that they showed off that Nvidia said the impossible is now possible, 4K HDR at 60 hertz. So, aka 4K 60 hertz, like 60 frames.
Yeah, which is what I was bitching about the 1080s not being able to do.
So they're showing, but this is even kind of crazy. Far Cry 5, 71 frames a second. Battlefield 1, 84 frames a second. This is, again, at 4K HDR. Destiny 2, 66 frames a second. Resident Evil 7, 66 frames a second. Battlefront 2.
And that's a 2080, not a TI that they were claiming,
This is a 2080. It's not a TI. Mass Effect Andromeda, 67 frames. Call of Duty World War II, 93 frames. Hitman, the last one, not Hitman 2, 73 frames. And Final Fantasy 15, the Windows Edition, at 60 frames.
You know what's going to kill me is I'm going to see some games running on this thing at PAX, and then I'm going to freaking want one, and I don't need one. Because I don't even have a 4K monitor. I'm well north of 60 on everything I play on my ultra wide with my 1080.
Right.
But I just know there's new and shiny. It's like, and I want it.
I know.
Like, so I'm gonna have a hard time not getting a 2080 and flipping my 1080. I don't think I'll do a TI, but who knows? I'm an idiot.
The big problem here is like we've said, I think it's a wait and see. It's a lot of money.
It is a lot. Very expensive.
They're saying that there could be upwards of twice the performance compared to a 1080, moving to a 2080, not even a TI. But I honestly want to see real numbers from third parties, not just Nvidia saying like, "Oh yeah, this is a great card and you should buy it because it's fast." So, I mean, it looks to be incredibly fast, and I'm sure it's going to be faster than a 1080. but I just want proper numbers to see how much faster
only
in normal
seems
games.
like a year late. But
yeah, I mean, over two and a bit years
I wish it was
since
less
the 1080.
expensive.
And that's the problem. I mean, the 2070 is going to be in Canadian. I think I did the conversion on it, and it's going to be, I think, $900. Also, they haven't released a date for the 2070 yet, so I'm not sure when that's going to be hitting the market.
Yeah, it's going to be later. They're going to want you to get the fully loaded.
I'm hearing rumors of probably on October, like mid to late October launch for that. So we'll see. Currently, again, these are pre-orders, and these are I'm talking Canadian prices
Nvidia
only.
Is not at PAX this year, so
interesting.
I don't know. I can always email my guy and see what he says, but
yeah,
probably he won't have anything to say.
I'm seeing pre-order prices for a 2080 non-TI right around the $1,100 Canadian mark.
See, if it was $1,000, then I'd think about it. Flip my 1080 for $500 or $600, but they're all going to drop in value because everyone else is going to do that.
Cheapest 1080 I've seen right now is under $600 at the moment.
Yeah, if I can get a 2080 for $1,000 and get rid of mine for $500, I would consider doing it. $500 upgrade.
Yeah,
I got a good 2 years out of that card.
Yeah, no, you laughed, and that's the way I look at this. I got it
super early, so and I don't need this car. This is just the new shiny car smell thing. That's like, ooh, that, for the last couple of years, I'm like, I got the best video game and the card in the world. Now I can't see that.
Yep,
my E-peen shrunk like 2 inches.
And then, of course, also the other question that's going to come out with these is going to be how does it, like, it sounds terrible, but how does it run like Bitcoin mining?
Oh, God.
Because if it's incredible at doing that,
then forget about it. The prices are going to go up even higher, and we're not going to even.
I mean, there's already been a huge amount of demand for new cards, anyways, because they haven't done that in 2 years. So, seeing these cards are now coming out, if they're incredible at mining, luckily, like the Bitcoin thing seems to have kind of crashed pretty hard.
Thank God.
So that doesn't seem to be much of an issue.
Mine's not worth that much anymore, but whatever.
But yeah, it's big. It's really interesting. I think it's neat because it's the first time since the CUDA core that Nvidia has done, or anybody for that matter, has like really pushed the boundary.
Yeah,
on
with the big new architecture.
Yeah, like this isn't just taking a 1080 and making it. Yeah, this isn't just a 1080 that's got more of all the stuff that you would expect it to have.
It's that and releasing
it for more money. Exactly, there's a lot more. Yeah. So time will tell whether or not that's a good thing and whether or not it's worth it. But at least they're trying to push the industry forward, which is cool.
Moving along. More news out of Gamescom. Well, I don't know if this actually came out of Gamescom. I think it came to the Kickstarter backers. But Bloodstained Ritual of the Night has been delayed into 2019, and the Vita version has been canceled, which is like bleh, lame.
That's a bummer.
That is a bummer because I played it at E3 and it seemed pretty damn ready. And then they killed the Vita version, which people aren't too happy about. Because they're claiming they're killing the Vita version due to Sony no longer planning.
They're ending production of physical copies.
So they're like, well, we can't do it. And people are like, oh, but the store's still open. You can just do it digital. And I think, to be honest, from what I saw and played at E3, I think that game probably wouldn't have run very well on the Vita, and they would have made too many concessions to get it on that system. So they're like, yeah, forget it.
Vita's pretty old at this point.
Vita is very old. Vita was not the most powerful system even when it came out.
It was pretty beefy when it first came out. But
but compared to...
It was at that weird time where it was like in between the PS3 and the PS4 kind of. Yeah,
that sucks. So. I was really looking forward to that. I'm like, sweet, am I going to get this? Oh, man.
I was hoping that was going to be at PAX this year to play, actually.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything about
it's
it.
not at PAX. I emailed
Oh, really?
their PR guy because I'm like, I wanted to play it again. Igarashi's going to be there on a panel.
Really? But his game's not going to be
We were
there?
invited to go to the panel, but I can't remember what the panel is about.
I'll have to look that up. Maybe we'll check out the panel.
Assassin's Creed is going to take a year off next year, apparently. Confirmed on news today at Gamescom. Yves Guillemot. After Odyssey, they're going to take a year off, which
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
I don't think that's a bad thing
That's
at all.
not a bad thing. I would have been.
I've always
been
said
okay.
like,
yeah.
You know, distance makes the heart grow fonder, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I would have been okay with.
I would have been happy if they took this year off and dropped, Odyssey next year.
Trust me. I want to play Odyssey, and I'm excited for Odyssey. I liked what I played of it and I loved Origins. So the only issue I have is freaking Red Dead and Spider-Man, and those are already two massive open world games that are coming out all like months apart, like September, October. And what is Odyssey's date? Is it October or November? I can't remember, but it's in there.
I want to say it's October this year.
Yeah. This Red Dead looks so goddamn amazing. Ugh.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I don't know. I feel like some of the big games need, like Call of Duty, take a freaking year off, man. Come on.
How long has it been since they took a year off? 2007?
Have they?
Wasn't 2007 was the year that they released Modern Warfare?
I can't remember.
So I don't think they were on a yearly schedule quite yet, but it was pretty close to there. Because they were doing because Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare came out, then World at War, then Modern Warfare 2. And then I want to say that's when Black Ops came out, and that's when they went to a 3 studio with Treyarch, Sledgehammer, and Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
All doing one game every 3 years.
Still really interested in checking out that Blackout mode.
Yeah.
So Dark Souls has announced a trilogy coming out for PS4 and Xbox One.
Didn't they just announce the first game remastered?
Well, they didn't announce it. That's already been released, and then the Switch version was delayed. And then at the same time that the Switch version of the remaster is coming out, they're releasing a trilogy collection for PS4 and Xbox.
So is that going to all be like super remastered, or is this just like a trilogy ported to these things?
Well, I don't think 2 and 3 really needed any remastering because 3 came out on current consoles.
Right, but 2 didn't.
2, I think, has all the DLC. I feel like 2 might have also came out on modern consoles.
It does at least. Oh, you might actually be right. It might have been at the very beginning of this generation.
But the first one definitely had a remaster because it was it definitely came out on the last one. 2 might have also came out on PC, but I can't remember. But either way, Switch fans are not happy, and some people who bought the remaster are kind of like, "What the fudge? If I knew you were doing this, I wouldn't have bought the remaster. I would have just bought this."
Yep.
So some people are kind of peeved. Milking the cow here a little bit. Bandai, Namco, good job. I don't know. I have all 3 of them already. I don't see any reason to buy this.
I definitely won't be. So
I haven't even. I haven't beat 3. I'm far on 3, but I got to go back and beat it.
You probably won't, though.
I probably won't. That is correct. I don't care about talking about this, do you?
Not really. I mean, it's not that much of a change, really.
Okay, Nintendo news. Nintendo announces a bunch of Switch indie games. This is like their Gamescom thing. They released a trailer with, I don't know how many freaking indie games. A lot. Watch the trailer. It's in the show notes. But they surprised release like, oh, and these comes out today, and this comes out today. Prison Architect, Morphe's Law, and Bad North all came out today, or the 20th, whatever.
And there's like a whole bunch of other stuff coming out.
Yeah, a lot of these I assume
months.
are going to be at PAX. I haven't heard anything about.
Let's talk about this though. Windjammers.
Yeah, with the big
ported
news.
on October 23rd.
Windjammers is coming, and then the Windjammers sequel.
Whoa!
Is coming
sometime
out
in 2019.
Year.
That's pretty cool.
And then a sequel to Monster Boy, I guess, because that did really well, the original one.
Mm-hmm. They remastered it. Yeah.
Moonlighter. I talked about that like a month or two ago. That's a cool game. That's coming. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
Streets of Rage.
Freaking
interesting.
Nintendo is the Switch is the indie machine.
It took over for the Vita.
Grandia 1 and 2, speaking of which, not indies, but remasters are coming to Switch. We're actually going to get to see those at PAX.
I'm actually
everyone will get to see those at PAX, actually, so not just us.
I'm a big Grandia fan.
Oh, yeah.
Grandia 2 is one of my favorite RPGs.
Yeah,
the game is great.
Where did I beat? I want to say I beat Grandia 2 on Dreamcast. Does that sound right?
It did come out on Dreamcast and PS2.
I think that's where I beat it, was on Dreamcast. I really liked that combat system.
Yes, the original Grandia came out on PlayStation and Saturn.
So it has the release date here, right?
I don't know if they announced.
I don't think they have announced release date. You're right. It will be at PAX, so
yep.
Everyone who's listening,
I'm going to be making an appointment to see that game.
Arena
Apparently
Valor,
they're getting an HD treatment, which is great.
Yeah, Arena Valor, popular mobile MOBA game, is coming to Switch. Apparently, it's in beta. I don't know how you get in the beta. I assume you could probably sign up on their site somewhere.
The biggest game I've never heard of is very true.
Yeah, I played it on. It was really. I think it was like one of these like iPhone launch event titles. It was like, look at this game we have running, and everyone's like, oh, this is cool. And it's actually not. It's not a bad game at all. It's pretty good.
A player base that peaked at over 200 million players.
Yeah, it's huge.
Wow,
it's huge because it's a mobile game, but it's coming to Switch, so that might be neat to check it out there. Really interesting news. Well, not interesting news. Octopath Traveler was July's top-selling game. I think, did we talk about last week that it was a million seller already?
No.
Okay, I might have taken that off the outline, but yeah, it had cracked 1 million, and it was,
that's
according
crazy.
to NPD numbers that I think came out today, it straight up was the biggest selling game in July. Apparently,
I'm just going to take this opportunity to tell people, if you're big into Octopath Traveler, do yourself a favor, go download
Battle Chasers
Night War. It's a better looking version of Octopath without random encounters.
They're different games,
and the battles, they are, but they're similar enough that I feel like if you liked Octopath, you would probably like Battle Chasers as well. Even the combat. When I was playing Octopath, I was like, man, I feel like they might have played some Battle Chasers because some of these systems are a little bit similar.
It'll scratch that same itch. I still want to buy. I want to buy Octopath, but I'm just like, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna play it. So
I know.
I'm just gonna wait. Maybe it'll magically go on sale.
But don't worry, man. You already have Battle Chasers for your Switch. You're golden, man. So there you go.
But yeah, apparently half of the top-selling games in July were Switch exclusives. And the Switch was also actually the biggest selling console for July, I believe, as well. So for all the haters out there who've been saying the Switch is a fad or it's slowing or dying, they are wrong. PlayStation news. They had a pretty not exciting Gamescom, in my opinion. They didn't do a press conference at all or anything. I think no one did. Sony had like a stream, but that's about it. Or Microsoft had a stream, that's about it. But they did announce some funky colored remotes.
Okay.
If you want new DualShocks in cool colors. Yay.
I do actually really like a lot of these.
They do look pretty cool. God of War New Game Plus
Kind of want
mode
the orange one.
is out. If you want to play through that again.
Man, there's a game I gotta finish.
Yeah, you have to finish the game. So
I know.
Good. But yeah, Xbox. I was very disappointed. We did not get our Elite announcement.
Man, a lot of people are still thinking that thing's like happening.
It is happening. There's been leaked pictures of it. There's an updated version of it with USB-C.
Wow.
And you can't buy the thing, so there has to be a new... I don't know what they're saving it for. Anyway, they announced a bunch of stuff for updates, State of Decay, freaking PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Forza Horizon.
Releasing their green game preview program. And
Sea of Thieves, new stuff for Sea of Thieves. A bunch of Xbox One X bundles. They're basically, you can buy an Xbox One X bundle with Fallout, Forza, a bunch of different games. There's like 4 different bundles. And then, of course, they announced some new controllers, like the PUBG controller, and I think a couple other new customization options to the Designer Lab. But the one thing I cared about, a new Elite controller, they did nothing. So I guess they were pretty proud about having Devil May Cry in their stream and the release date, though that's not even an exclusive game, so...
That's cool.
Yeah, I watched the stream for a little bit, and it's like...
I didn't have a chance. It was like working and stuff.
It was a good stream. But I was disappointed because they were like... I don't know, they kind of hyped up that they were going to have hardware announcements, and technically they did.
They showed off some new controllers, just not the new controllers that everybody wanted them to show off.
Yeah, so poo. Anyway, Gamescom, I think the media days are done now, and now it's open to the public. I saw a video today. Oh my god.
Wow, yeah, that looks insane.
The lineup to just get in, and apparently that's just one of the entrances. I think that's more people that are at PAX that were just outside of the venue. It's insane.
There's a lot of people there that go to Gamescom. Yeah, it is a lot bigger than PAX.
It's bigger than E3. It's the biggest show in the world. I think it's a couple 100,000 people.
That's insane.
Apparently that show floor is just hell. Like, if you go there, you literally, hopefully you're media, because then you go to media. I think they have, I don't know, I know they have one whole media day. They might even actually have 2, and then it's open to the public, I think, for 3 or 4. It's a freaking huge show, but it's Europe, right? So you got to think.
Yeah.
I got nothing in public service announcements. Well, we're going to PAX. You all know that. That's next week. Our next show is either going to be recorded from Dane's car while we're driving, or when we get to the hotel, one or the other. We'll figure something out. I'm packing the mic, so I think this year we should do, at the end of the night, drunk or not, tired or not, little mini recordings and patch them all together as a bonus episode. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
Every year we say, hey, we're going to do some PAX coverage stuff, and then we don't. And this, I think, is going to be the year we do.
Yeah. Let's try.
Yeah.
Free-for-all section. I forgot. I talked about Android Pie. My phone got updated. My Pixel 2 got updated to Android Pie. One thing I forgot to mention was my Bluetooth functionality has gotten a lot better. I don't know if it was bugs from Oreo, but I have a lot of Bluetooth shit synced to my phone at any given time. I have my smartwatch, my Wear OS, my Moto 360. I have usually a Bluetooth headset for work,
right?
And then I have Bluetooth in my vehicles, like my work truck or my car, right? I found with Oreo, when I would get in my car, if I had my Bluetooth on, it wouldn't switch over to the car for audio.
Oh, interesting.
I had to turn my headset off, and then I had to go into settings and click on my car and the Bluetooth settings for it to actually do it. If I didn't have my Bluetooth headset on, it was never a problem. Jumping into the work truck or my personal vehicle, the Bluetooth just syncs up like you would expect. I'm in my car, I press start, it's playing whatever last thing I was listening to on my phone as you would want it to. So I don't know if that was an Oreo thing. Another thing is my Bluetooth headset volume was like crap. Like I couldn't, like it was cranked all the way, but it was super quiet. In Pi, it's working again the way it used to work.
Oh, nice.
I don't know.
That's
and I noticed a couple nicer things with it just seems better.
Right.
All around Bluetooth functionality seems better. I'm still
That's awesome,
pondering. Man. I think I'm not going to do it until after PAX, but I'm going to do like a clean wipe of my phone, which I kind of like doing with new OSs. But I haven't done that with Pi yet. But I haven't had any issues at all, besides a couple bugs.
If you haven't had issues, then
yeah. So I don't
really
know.
worry about
Yeah.
it.
So that's it. I don't know if that's even warranted. That's just more of a psychological thing. I'm kind of like, I need a new clean install. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like as time goes on with, it's like any operating system, you know, we saw this with, like, over time with Windows.
Ghosts in the
needing
machine.
needing that new install is a lot, I don't know, it's not nearly as needed anymore. Like, it's obviously a good thing to do from time to time, but it's definitely not. It's not like with Windows 98 and Windows XP and those ones, and even Windows 7 to an extent, where
it's like a necessity.
You're just like, oh man, okay, well I got to do a fresh install now, and you're like, but why? Like, you just did one a year ago. Like, you know, it's like there was, yeah. So it's not really as needed anymore.
Yeah, Jane.
Yo,
with that, I think we have a show.
I think you're right.
Episode 169 is in the gigabits, your ear holes, and the internet and the RSS feeds. You can follow me on Twitter at RickF, no K, RICF.
You can always come bug me on Twitter at Dane Cody, at DAYNECODY.
And then, of course, you can find us on all the social media platforms as Geekoholics, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and what am I missing? Twitter. Is that right?
The Twitter twats?
Yeah. So you can find us all there. It's Geekoholics everywhere. And, you know, as a little thank you for our work, maybe if you can leave a like, a subscribe, a review. We don't ask for much, but that obviously helps us with the magical logarithms of the internet to expand the show and find new listeners. We don't ask for much, so just a little click here and there, you know. Next week we will be together at PAX. So it's exciting. Man, it seems so far away, and it's freaking here.
Coming up quick.
Yeah, like I was like just at E3 literally like yesterday. It was like almost 3 months ago now.
Yep.
Jesus. All right. Until next week, we are out.
To infinity and beyond.
Peace.